Hi, I'm Maggie. I'm a licensed clinical psychotherapist. I have degrees in psychology, theology, and marriage and family therapy, and a national certification in dialectical behavioral therapy. In this video, I'm not seeking to diagnose anyone. I'm only willing to offer insight into situations like these. Hello. Welcome to Shadow Work Wednesday. Hi, Nina, you're number one. Yay. So today we're going to talk about manifestation and your personal algorithm. And it's interesting because I have my notes, but I literally have 3 things written down. Because when it comes to manifestation, setting your personal algorithm, there's really only 2 rules. There's really only 2 rules. The first one is don't rely on your senses. So we talked about that, right? Because senses are faulty. There's so many different ways that our senses don't give us the actual truth of things. Um, we think we heard something, or we think somebody said something in a certain way, or we thought we smelled something, or we thought we felt something. Like, they are faulty. And at the end of the day, we can't assure that what we're sensing or what we're experiencing is exactly the same as it is for someone else. And so all the labels that we have in the world, all the definitions that we have in the world, all the things that we've agreed upon are actually social constructs because we've agreed upon a label. Okay. Like, we're taught the label for something in school. We agree with it. We know what the word is, and that's the word that we start using. And then those words start to have meaning and connotation, but everything is agreed upon. We can't get inside somebody else's heads. We can only get inside our head. So when we are trying to manifest things into our life, that's what manifesting means. It means, like, in some way bringing it about. Now, some people in the spiritual community will talk about manifesting as if I sit and I, think on something and think on something, or I chant and chant and chant, then I am the same as its vibration, and then it's going to be attracted to me, which is not how magnetism works. And it's going to come to me. The difficulty is, especially in Western culture that has been really radicalized with Western types of Christianity, is that if you don't get the thing that you sat and prayed and thought on and thought on and thought on, then those same spiritual people will use the same guilt tactics that are used in radicalized Christianity. Things like, well, you had a lack mindset, or you weren't at the same vibration, or you didn't meditate enough, or you didn't, like, it's your fault, right? And all you were trying to do was manifest something into your life. And so for me, manifesting looks a lot different, because I go at spirituality from a scientific mindset. So that's why I use quantum mechanics and quantum physics and things, like when I say that's not how magnetism works. Um, nature abhors a vacuum. Magnetism is opposites. So to say that if you vibrate at the same frequency of something, it will be attracted to you doesn't make scientific sense. So what makes more sense, especially in the day and age of social media, is to say, set your personal algorithm. Most of us understand an algorithm. On one hand, it's kind of like I'm talking about something, and my phone is nearby, and then all of a sudden my phone wants to show me these things, which can be a little creepy. But, at this point, we've almost all accepted that our phones listen to us. Um, but we understand it to be that when we get into search engines or we're looking at specific things or we're spending time on specific pages, then the algorithm of social media, which we're using this as an example, will start sending us more of that thing. So in a way, I guess you could say you're vibrating at the same frequency, but it's more like if you want to manifest things into your life, you set your personal algorithm. I think some of you have heard me before say what you look at is your reality. So, because there's something called confirmation bias, right? So, if I watch violent videos all day, then this interesting thing will happen that when I go out in the world, I will see more violence. Like, because my mind is attuned to violence, I will notice it. I will see it. So what I see starts to shape my reality. If I watch videos of people arguing, then it's going to seem like people in my real life are arguing more. There's this confirmation bias. If I watch videos where men are doing mean things, then when I'm around men, I will see those things in the things that they're saying and make assumptions that they're doing mean things. So when we set our personal algorithm, it has to do with as above, so below, and as outward, so inward. So we want to bring into ourselves and absorb and digest what we want to see. Okay. So, as an example, very wealthy people. So, I saw a video the other day about something wealthy people, don't do that poor people do. And it was really quite silly what they were saying. It was like, they don't talk to poor people. That ain't it. People who are wealthy hoard their money. See, this is not being in the vibration of money brings you more money. No, when you're in the vibration of hoarding money, you will get more money to hoard. So the thing is, a lot of us, when we're trying to manifest money, we want to manifest money to spend it. You see the difference? Like, I want money so I can pay off my bills. I want more money so I can pay off my student loans. I want more money so I can buy a Ferrari. I want more money so I can buy a house. So in our manifesting, we are spending, not hoarding. So sometimes it's the mindset, right? So if you knew that the mindset was to get more money, you have to hoard money, you have to become like a spendthrift, like a Scrooge. You have to account for every penny you have, pinch every penny, get everything as cheap as possible. Don't give money to people. Don't allow people to borrow money. Don't hoard it, right? You hoard it. And when we think about some of the wealthiest people, we can see there is that hoarding mentality. They want tax breaks as much as possible so that they aren't spending an extra dime on taxes. They want business deals where they're getting the absolute biggest bang for their buck. The banking system is set up that hoarding creates more wealth. Make sense? Is everybody with me so far? Hi, Adrian. I watch a lot of videos of food, probably why I'm getting fat. But food is delicious. Hi, Leon. Thanks for being in here. Okay, so when we set our personal algorithms and we talk about intention, it's what are you going to do with the thing that you get, right? So here's the thing. Think about the quantum field, right? The universe as being sentient. And if you say to the universe, I want money so I can spend it, then it's like, let's cut out the middleman and just not give you any money, right? Because you're asking for money so that you don't have any. That doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense, right? So if you're wanting a lot of money, then you hoard money. And the consequence of hoarding money is also that it's going to gain interest and you're holding on to every penny and you're being a spendthrift and a Scrooge. So you're going to have more money. But if you want more money to spend it, manifesting is probably not the way to go, right? Unfortunately, the hustle and work and all that is, putting in extra hours. That's going to be the better way. So when we set our personal algorithm, it's what are we consuming? Food, air, sensory, what are we consuming on our screen time? What are we bringing into our life? Are we trying to find balance? If we've been involved in politics, those videos are never pleasant and joyful, right? We can't hide from it. So if we've been watching a lot of that, then we got to find balance. We watch Tony Baker animal voiceover videos or food channels and recipes or things that bring you joy. We go outside, we see the sky, we get some sunshine, some fresh air. That's all good for us. So we have to balance those things because we got to set our personal algorithm. And if all I'm consuming is all this politicking, then then everything in life is going to seem like politicking, and I'm going to search out that politicking. So we set our algorithm in that way. What we consume, we're going to get more of. What we hoard within ourselves is what we're going to get more of. It's not being in the vibration of money. That doesn't make sense. But what we say we want to hold on to is what we'll get more of. Okay. Think about in a relationship. You're in a relationship with your person and you want to hold on to them. And so you show them appreciation and you show them love and you show them kindness and you show them understanding. And what will you get back from that person? Kindness and love and understanding, right? You show empathy, you get empathy. But if you go into it like I'm only showing empathy to write it down on this ledger so that I get 3 points of empathy later, then the universe says, well, what you're holding on to is a transactional relationship. Here, let's make it transactional. You don't want that, right? But it's how you set your algorithm. So I wanted to play 2 videos today because there are a couple people who say things way better than I do. So let me see what the first, not that. Oh, it's this one. Okay. So we're going to watch Alan Watts for a little bit. And if you guys haven't heard of Alan Watts, please look up his videos on YouTube. They are everywhere. You can find them. And while he never says that what he's talking about is shadow work, it very much plays into shadow work. So he talks about, like I've said before, how life is a game and not like a silly game. It's a serious game, but it's a game. And you try to figure out how to move and play the game as you go. And he's the first one that I heard talk about the Joker, which gave me the mindset that the Joker is the perfect representation of the shadow. So we're going to watch him for just a few minutes. Okay.
We'll begin by refreshing memories as to what went before. In discussing the theme of the Joker, I've been talking about a point of view, the Joker's point of view, from which not only our social institutions, but also all the formations of the natural world are seen as games. Be careful of the word game. It doesn't mean as trivialities, because when we say it's just a game, this often means it is just trivial. There can be important games, as when we play the piano or musical instruments, we are not necessarily doing something frivolous, but we are playing. And there is something in the nature of ball play that is not serious, but at the same time may be sincere. And I try to give you the picture of the multiplicity of natural forms on the one hand, and of human social institutions, and all the things that we do and consider important and busy ourselves with as human beings. I try to give you the point of view from which these can be seen as games, as things being done, as it were, simply for themselves, and not for some ulterior motive. And therefore, these games are in a way best played when they are played as games. Although it's really all right for people to take them seriously, except that they are a little bit deprived. They're missing something. And so when the Joker sees a person taking his life seriously and regarding himself as extremely important, there is something a little bit funny about it, and he is inclined to get the giggles. And it's all he knows, that the very intensity of seriousness with which the individuals concerned are taking these games will be a kind of foil for the subsequent bursting into laughter.
Interesting, huh? It's interesting to hear somebody say, don't take life too seriously, because there are so many serious things about life, right? There's a lot that has to be taken seriously. Try to remove that. There we go. There are so many things in life that are serious, right? But it seems like we've gotten to a point that we take everything seriously. And then we do this sweeping thing like, oh, it's not that serious. It's only Facebook, or it's only YouTube, or it's only, right? Because some things are important, but life in and of itself doesn't have to be that serious. It's a game. We're all trying to figure it out. We're all on the struggle. We're all kind of living in this dystopian weirdness that's going on. And we can find joy in places, right? Because if we're hyper focused on the seriousness, then we're hoarding seriousness. And then everything that we see and encounter is super serious. And it's not that serious. If we focus on the price of groceries all the time and how expensive everything is, then everything we see is going to be spending money. You see? So just like the Joker who wants Batman to get out of his head, like you are this dark brooding, I am the night. He's this dark, brooding, menacing, constantly focusing on his parents' death. Like 25 years later, and he never gets past it. And because that's what he's hyper focused on, then everything he experiences is dark. Okay, well, yes, eggs, because you have to mortgage your house to buy eggs. But other than eggs, or get some chickens, or get some eggs from your neighbor's chickens. Yeah. So when we're setting our personal algorithm, when we're trying to find balance, when we're trying to manifest things into our life, don't take it too serious. It really isn't, because you are the main character of your life. And if you look at your story and you realize you're the main character, most things weren't that serious, right? It's like you go through a breakup and you are absolutely devastated. And eventually you get past it and you meet somebody else. And then you look back 5 years ago when you and that person broke up, and you can remember and you can empathize with your past self about how hard that was, but it just doesn't feel the same. It's not as serious, right? Because it's part of the story. You had to end that relationship to be with this person, to move into this future, right? It's part of the story. And there's a rise and fall to every story. There are high highs, there are low lows. Nina says, I needed to hear that about getting out of your head. Right. It's not that serious. Okay. The other rule, so don't take it too serious, which is perfect when we want to stay focused on, so I'll get to the second rule in a second. I just wanted to reiterate, when we super always want to focus on being authentic. Again, what you're hoarding, what you're holding on to is what you'll see more of. So the more that we as human beings can be authentically ourselves, not leading with ego, not leading with being the smartest person in the room, not leading with being the most entertaining person in the room, not leading with being wanting to be the center of attention or attention seeking or all of those things. When we just lead with, I'm just me, which means I'm going to make mistakes and I'll take accountability. I'm going to be funny sometimes, I'm going to be smart sometimes, but I'm me. Then we will be met with more authenticity. So as people interact with us one-on-one, they will be more authentic because in your authenticity, you made them comfortable to be that way. You know, if I'm weird, you can be weird. It's all good, right? Okay, second rule is don't rely on your senses. So I wanted to show one other video about not relying on your senses. When we're trying to manifest, so we're thinking on things, we're figuring out what we're hoarding, what we're bringing into ourselves, what we're holding on to, what our sense of self is, all of these things. You can't rely on your senses because, again, that's part of your algorithm. What you put in is what you're going to see, right? So you know that you're not seeing everything. You know that your senses are faulty. So when you're thinking on how you want your life to be or things that you want to come into your life, it has to be all in your mind. You cannot rely on your senses. You have to think on it. Okay. So let's watch this one. I really need to get 2 monitors. Interesting, huh? Isn't that interesting? It's the thing is that I kind of had to laugh as I'm replaying this video is because I remember when he first played that distorted sound, it sounded like nothing. But now when I watch the video back, I can't not hear the words. You guys think about like on the internet, there's been these times like, is the dress blue or is it pink? Are the shoes, gray or green? Because people's different sensory experience will tell them different things. So we absolutely cannot rely on our senses. Now, Anil Seth, who was the second person, he's also great to watch because the way he puts it, and he uses a lot of science, and I love science. He talks about how our mind creates our conscious reality. And that's what manifestation is, right? Like our thoughts on the world, our thoughts on our life. If we think a lot about how we're a victim or I have to work too hard or I have to deal with too many people and I'm not a people person and I have to do this and I have to do that. Like I have to do all these things that I absolutely detest and I hate them. And this is my life and my kids bug me all the time. And my person is on my ass and that's what we're focusing on, then that's what we're holding on to, right? And so that's also what our subconscious mind is going to mull on. And if that's what creates our reality, then focusing on all that negativity and focusing on those things creates a really negative life. If you think about what you want And if you bring more positivity into your life, and I'm not talking about like, oh, just pretend like, politics don't exist or pretend. I'm not talking about being delusional. I'm talking about everybody deserves to be happy, and everybody deserves to have some joy in their life and to feel balanced and to feel satisfied and to feel good. Everybody deserves that. And so a way to set your reality is, because we already receive a lot of negativity, we have to focus on a lot more positivity, the things that bring us happiness, the things that bring us joy, the things that build our integrity, that build our dignity, that make us feel confident. These are the things that we need to pull more into, because life is kind of kicking our arses. Everybody is getting their arse kicked right now by life. And so there's a lot of lashing out that happens. This Sunday, I'm going to be talking about that a lot, because everybody's struggling, and social media is getting a little wackadoo and out of control. Okay, Leanne says, bruh, I just put $50 in my car. I prayed for some good coupons at HEB right after, and it came true. Yes. Right? Getting good deals. The more you focus on getting good deals, the more good deals you will get, right? Hi, Toya. Thanks for being in here. So those were the important parts for tonight. Tonight's a little bit shorter, but because with manifesting and setting your personal algorithm, there's really just the two rules. Don't take it too seriously and don't rely on your senses, right? It's just all about what you focus on, and, be what you want more of. If you want more understanding from people, be really understanding. If you want people to be kinder, be really kind. Is it going to work 100% of the time? No, because this world's full of human beings. At least I think so. I don't know. We talked about NPCs. So maybe mostly humans. I mean, I kind of hope mostly humans. But I have a challenge to ask of you guys, because I want to do something fun next Wednesday. So I went and saw the movie Inside Out 2. Has anybody seen that? If you've seen that, put your hand up in the chat. The movie, okay, so first of all, the movie, it's animated. This is an animated movie. Inside Out, the original one, it's about, there are these personified emotions inside this little girl's head. And so the movie is about these little personified emotions, and so there's anger and there's joy and sadness, and they each have their own little personalities and stuff like that. Okay, so Toya says, cannot wait to see part 2. Okay, so it was a great movie. And guys, I'm one of those people, because, I try to remain big-hearted and sensitive and empathetic, and those, oh, justice for Bing Bong. I don't remember. Nope. Not telling you. So I am sensitive. So when I saw Inside Out, I definitely cried. But when I saw Inside Out 2, what? So the overarching premise of Inside Out 2 is she's becoming a teenager, and she's developing a sense of self. So this is so important to shadow work, right? Our sense of self is our personal algorithm. So what I want to do is to get 1, 2, 3 of you between now and Wednesday next week to watch Inside Out 2. Also, little bit of a spoiler alert, Shadow makes himself known, but just a teeny bit, right? And so this sense of self and Shadow having this little cameo moment is really important to the work we're doing. So if I can get 1 or 2 or 3 of you to commit to watching the movie between now and next Wednesday, maybe go to a matinee. Then we can have a panel next Wednesday and talk about the movie and kind of break it down and talk about that sense of self. We can kind of do a movie review and talk about how it's pertinent to shadow work. Even though, it's this kid's movie. And also there were some really funny parts. Like, adults are still going to like this movie. There's some really funny parts. Hi, D. Scott. Thanks for coming in. So, any volunteers? This goes for the replay gang too. If there's any volunteers, put it in the chat so that we can have a panel and talk about this movie next week. Okay, so Leon. Yes. So Leon, you'll watch the movie between now and next Wednesday, Inside Out 2. And it is in theaters. So I'm sorry, guys, it will cost a little bit of money. And I want to be, respectful and not spend people's money. That's why it's voluntary, right? Okay, so we got Leon. He's going to go watch the movie and then be on a panel next Wednesday. All right, Adrian Hicks will. Oh, good. Yeah, Leon, he will like it. Yeah, he will like it. It's a great movie. I think it's PG, not G, but I don't even know if they make G movies anymore. Okay, so we got Leon and we got Adrian. And then, of course, if anybody doesn't necessarily feel like they can commit right this minute and they end up watching the movie in between times, then they will be more than welcome to come up on the panel too while we discuss it. So that's exciting. I'm glad that I've got some volunteers and that we can have that panel next week. So that was all I have for tonight. I hope everybody has an amazing rest of your Wednesday. On Sunday, I'm going to be talking about forging your own future and self-determination in the age of social media on Sunday. So hopefully you guys can be there. I may end up having a panel on Sunday as well. Thank you to everybody who I missed this last Sunday. Flight delays were a bear. I ended up getting home, like 6 hours later than I was supposed to. So it was a mess. All right. Y'all have a good rest of the week. And I'll see you on Sunday if you're there, or I'll see you next Wednesday.